Have you ever stood in the kitchen, looking at the dishes piling up in the sink, and thought to yourself, why does this feel harder than it used to? Or maybe you found yourself hesitating at the top of the stairs, wondering if it's really worth the trip back down just to grab your reading glasses. These little moments might not seem like much on their own, but over time, they can quietly chip away at something we all value deeply, our independence. Now, let's be clear. Growing older doesn't mean giving up control over your life. Not at all. In fact, many people over 60 find this chapter to be one of their most fulfilling. But here's the thing. There are small, everyday habits that sneak into our routines, things we barely even notice, that can start making our world feel smaller bit by bit. And if we don't spot them early, they can begin to limit our choices, drain our energy, and make us more dependent on others than we really need to be. That's why we're here today. Because the truth is, with just a few simple shifts, you can take back that sense of freedom, confidence, and ease in your day-to-day life. We're going to talk about the sneaky little tasks and habits that slowly rob you of your independence, and more importantly, how to fix them in practical, doable ways. So let's dive into it. And let's start with something that seems so ordinary, it's almost invisible. Bending, reaching, and lifting around the house. Now, I know, you've been doing these things your entire life. Grabbing the laundry basket, reaching for the peanut butter on the top shelf, bending down to tie your shoes. But have you noticed lately how your body responds to those movements? A little more stiffness in the back? A little tug in the shoulder? Maybe you've started using furniture to balance yourself when picking something up off the floor? What's really happening here isn't just about flexibility. It's about slow erosion. When these everyday movements start to feel like a strain, we naturally begin to avoid them. Maybe we stop putting things on higher shelves. Maybe we leave the laundry for someone else. Before long, our range of motion shrinks. Our muscles get weaker, and the freedom to move around our own home begins to fade. But here's the good news. You can reverse that trend. You don't need to become a gymnast. You just need to stay mobile. One easy way to start? Keep a small, stable chair or footstool in the kitchen or hallway. Not to climb on, please don't do that, but to use for seated stretches or leg lifts while watching TV or waiting for the kettle to boil. A few minutes a day can gently reawaken those underused muscles. And while we're at it, let's talk about the way we lift things. Not just heavy boxes, but grocery bags, laundry baskets, even those oversized coffee table books we love to flip through. It's not about avoiding the task. It's about changing how you do it. Engage your legs instead of your back. Keep the object close to your body. Take a breath before lifting. This small bit of mindfulness keeps you strong and safe, and prevents those little tweaks that leave you stiff for days. Now, let's shift to another seemingly harmless task, keeping up with your medications. Yes, this one might surprise you. Taking your medications exactly as prescribed sounds like a no-brainer, but you'd be amazed at how often people unintentionally skip doses, double up, or mix the wrong combinations. And when that happens, it can cause fatigue, dizziness, blood pressure swings, things that not only make you feel off balance, but can lead to serious accidents or confusion. The real culprit here is usually not forgetfulness. It's the system. Maybe the pill bottles all look the same. Maybe your routine changes depending on the day. Maybe your meds have to be taken with food or on an empty stomach, and that makes it harder to keep track. But here's a simple fix that can save you time and protect your health. Invest in a good pill organizer. Not the flimsy kind with lids that pop open in your drawer. Look for one with secure compartments for morning, afternoon, and evening. Refill it once a week, preferably at the same time each Sunday or Monday, and you'll never have to second guess whether you took something or not. Even better, pair your pill routine with a habit you already do, like brushing your teeth or making coffee. That way, it becomes part of a natural rhythm, not just another chore on a list. You can also set gentle reminders on your phone or even leave a small sticky note on your fridge. Whatever helps you stay in control, use it proudly. Because that's not dependence, that's smart independence. And while we're talking about routines, let's touch on one more task that often flies under the radar: preparing meals. Now, don't get me wrong, cooking can be joyful. It connects us to memories, family, tradition. But when it starts to feel like a burden instead of a pleasure, something shifts. Maybe you've started skipping meals because it feels like too much effort, or reaching for microwave dinners more often than you'd like. It's easy to brush it off as no big deal. But over time, poor nutrition can sap your strength, mess with your energy, and even affect your mood. The key here isn't to become a gourmet chef. It's to simplify the process without sacrificing nutrition. Pre-cut veggies, frozen fruits for smoothies, simple sheet pan meals you can toss together in 10 minutes. And if standing at the stove feels exhausting, consider sitting while you prep. A sturdy stool in the kitchen can make a world of difference. You might even make a game out of it. How many healthy meals can you prep in under 15 minutes? It's about reclaiming that sense of ease, not pressure. And if you batch cook once or twice a week, you'll thank yourself on those tired days when you just want something ready to go. So, if you've ever caught yourself saying, "I'll just skip dinner tonight," or "I don't need to eat much anymore," take a moment to check in. You deserve food that fuels you and gives you joy, not just something you get through. These small things, bending to pick something up, sorting your medications, preparing your meals, might seem ordinary, but they're part of the foundation that keeps your life moving smoothly. When they become difficult, it's easy to hand them off to others. And while there's no shame in asking for help, it's also incredibly powerful to know that you can do more than you think, sometimes with just a small adjustment. Now that we've opened the door to how these quiet habits can slowly shift your independence, let's continue exploring a few more everyday tasks that may be doing just that without you even realizing it. Let's take a closer look at something you probably do every single day without thinking twice: getting dressed. Now, I know, you've been picking out clothes and putting them on your whole life. But here's the thing. What used to take just a couple of minutes can slowly become a real challenge without us realizing it. Buttons that don't quite cooperate, zippers that seem to hide from your fingers, socks that require a yoga pose just to reach. Sound familiar? When little frustrations like these start piling up, many people find themselves avoiding certain clothes altogether. "I don't wear those pants anymore. They're too much trouble." Or, "I just sleep in my clothes so I don't have to deal with it in the morning." And slowly, dressing becomes something to endure, not enjoy. But getting dressed, comfortably, confidently, is a powerful way to start your day on your own terms. So, how do we make it easier? It doesn't mean giving up your style or settling for bland. It means making a few smart swaps. Look for adaptive clothing that's been designed with comfort and independence in mind. There are brands out there now that make stylish clothes with magnetic closures instead of tiny buttons, shoes that slip on but still look polished, even pants with pull-on waistbands that still feel put together. And if you have stiff joints or limited range of motion, a simple dressing aid, like a long-handled shoehorn or a sock puller, can make getting ready feel smooth again. These tools aren't signs of weakness. They're like glasses for your hands, just a little help so you can keep doing what you love, your way. Now let's talk about something a little more emotional, something we don't always like to admit: letting mail, bills, or paperwork stack up. It might start with one envelope that seems unimportant, then another and another. Before you know it, the coffee table is cluttered with unopened mail, and the to-do list feels like a mountain. You may tell yourself, "I'll deal with that tomorrow," but tomorrow comes and goes. What's really happening here isn't laziness, it's overwhelm, and it happens to everyone. Paper clutter builds up because each piece feels like a small decision you have to make. Should I keep this? Do I need to respond? Is this a scam? Add that to a day already filled with other tasks, and it's no wonder we let it pile up. But here's why this matters. When mail and bills get ignored, we risk missing important deadlines, payments, or even health updates. And once those things slip, it's all too easy to feel like you're losing control of your own life. So how do we turn it around without getting buried? One way is to create a simple mail routine. It can be as easy as setting a basket by the door labeled Today's Mail and taking 5 minutes each day, maybe after breakfast or before your favorite TV show, to sort through it. Toss the junk. Set aside anything that needs a call or payment. If something feels confusing or suspicious, don't guess. Call a trusted friend or relative to look it over with you. Or even better, switch what you can to digital, where big print, reminders, and auto-pay options are all designed to keep you in the driver's seat. You're not falling behind. You're just changing your tools. Now, this next one might seem small, but it's one of the biggest culprits when it comes to draining your energy and limiting your freedom. Cleaning. I'm not saying don't clean. Of course, a tidy space is important. But too often, we carry around this pressure to keep our homes looking like they belong in a magazine. And let's be honest, scrubbing floors, reaching high cabinets, lifting heavy vacuums, those things take a toll. Maybe you found yourself skipping certain chores because they're just too taxing, or maybe you push through them and end up sore and exhausted. Either way, that quiet pressure to keep up can lead to guilt, and even worse, injury. But the truth is, your home should support you, not the other way around. So instead of trying to do it all, focus on setting up systems that make it easier to maintain the spaces that matter most. Place everyday items within easy reach. No more dragging out the step stool. Use lightweight tools like a cordless vacuum or microfiber mop that don't require brute strength. Break chores into short sessions instead of marathon days. And most importantly, remind yourself that it's okay to ask for help. Whether it's a neighbor, a local teen, or a cleaning service that comes once a month, preserving your energy for the things you love doing isn't lazy. It's wise. Independence isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about being in control of how and when things get done. There's also a hidden benefit to simplifying your cleaning routines. When your space is easier to maintain, you'll feel more relaxed, more confident, and more open to visitors. Which brings us to another task that often slips under the radar: staying socially connected. It may not sound like a task, but staying in touch with others, making phone calls, sending birthday cards, even joining in on group outings, requires planning, effort, and sometimes a good deal of courage. And when energy is low, or mobility becomes a barrier, it's easy to start declining invitations. Maybe next time turns into not today, which turns into long stretches of silence. That silence can be deceptive. You might still be busy with hobbies, watching shows, keeping yourself occupied, but something is missing. A part of you starts to shrink inward. That's when loneliness creeps in. And before long, it can affect everything from your memory to your physical health. But here's the beautiful part. You don't need to suddenly become a social butterfly to stay connected. Even 1 or 2 regular contacts, a weekly chat with a neighbor, a monthly lunch with a friend, or joining a small group at your local community center, can work wonders. If mobility is a challenge, use technology to your advantage. Voice-to-text messages, video calls, even digital photo frames that show family pictures on your counter. They keep you in the loop, and they keep others feeling close to you. These little lifelines protect your sense of belonging, and they keep your world feeling open instead of closed off. So as we continue, take a moment to reflect. Dressing with confidence, handling your mail without dread, keeping your home manageable, staying connected to people who make you smile. These aren't chores, they're building blocks of independence. Let's keep going, because there are still a few more everyday habits that might be holding you back without even realizing it. Let's turn our attention to something that often gets brushed aside, but has a surprising impact on how free and capable you feel each day: going to the bathroom. Yes, it's a private topic, but one that deserves honest attention. The truth is, when using the bathroom becomes physically difficult, or when issues like urgency or incontinence start popping up, many people feel embarrassed or ashamed. They may avoid leaving home for fear of accidents. They start planning outings around bathroom access. They drink less water to avoid frequent trips, which leads to dehydration and fatigue. And just like that, your world starts to shrink around a simple, daily task. And here's the thing. It's not just about bladder issues. It's about the whole setup. Is the toilet low, making it hard to sit or stand? Is the lighting dim at night? Are you rushing to get there in time, only to fumble with the lock or get your walker stuck in the doorway? These may sound like small obstacles, but when they pile up, they can make even the idea of leaving the house stressful. But you can take back control with a few thoughtful changes. Grab bars near the toilet make a world of difference, and there are raised toilet seats that make sitting and standing so much easier. Motion sensor nightlights can gently guide your way without the shock of full brightness. And bathroom mats with grippy bottoms can prevent slips before they ever happen. If you're dealing with urgency or leaks, talk to your doctor. There are treatments, tools, and even simple lifestyle changes that can help. You're not alone in this, and you're certainly not without options. Independence doesn't mean never needing help. It means knowing when to ask for it, and choosing to make your life easier, not harder. Now, while we're on the subject of environments that either help or hinder your freedom, let's step outside, just for a moment, and talk about your front door. How easy is it to get in and out of your home? Is the walkway smooth and well lit? Is there a sturdy handrail by the steps? Or do you have to rely on a wobbly railing or a cane that never quite feels steady? What about the door itself? Is it heavy? Does it open wide enough if you ever need a walker or wheelchair in the future? We don't often think about our home entrances until something goes wrong. But difficulty getting in and out can lead you to avoid errands, say no to social visits, or wait to take the trash out until it's practically bursting. And just like that, your comfort zone starts shrinking again. The fix? Start with lighting. Add motion lights by the walkway or porch. They're inexpensive and make a huge difference at night. Then look at the steps. Could a handyman add a rail or a ramp? Even something as simple as a rubber door stopper to keep the door open while you're carrying groceries can make your life easier and safer. And if you're someone who gets deliveries or mail regularly, think about adding a small bench or shelf outside so you don't have to bend down every time something is dropped off. Little upgrades like these might seem trivial, but they preserve your confidence and your ability to live on your own terms. Now, let's talk about something we all wrestle with at some point: technology. Whether it's the TV remote, a smartphone, or trying to book an appointment online, technology has become woven into nearly every part of daily life. But when it starts to feel frustrating or confusing, many people just give up. It's too complicated, they say. I don't need that stuff anyway. But here's what happens when you avoid it altogether. You slowly get cut off. Doctors' offices want to send appointment reminders via text. Family members share pictures through apps. Banks move their customer service to websites. Before long, the world keeps moving, and you're left feeling like you're stuck in place. But here's the truth. You don't need to know everything. You just need to learn what you need. And the best way to do that is to pick one device and make it work for you, not against you. Set up large icons. Use voice commands. Ask a grandchild, a neighbor, or even your local library for help. They often offer free tech help sessions. There are even senior-specific apps and devices now designed to be easier to use without all the clutter. You're not behind, you're just learning, and that takes time. But it's worth it. Because when you can book your own ride, send a message, or check your prescriptions from a device in your hand, that's real freedom. And finally, let's end with perhaps the most underestimated thing of all: saying no. It sounds simple, but for many of us, especially those who've spent a lifetime caring for others, Saying no can feel selfish. You might say yes to helping someone move heavy boxes, to watching the grandkids when you're already tired, to attending an event when what you really need is a quiet evening at home. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to your own energy, your own peace, your own well-being. Now, this doesn't mean becoming antisocial or unavailable. It means honoring your limits, choosing what matters most, and recognizing that protecting your energy is part of protecting your independence. You have the right to rest, to recharge, to say, not today, but maybe another time. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. When you start noticing these everyday tasks, how they affect your energy, your confidence, your sense of freedom, you begin to reclaim a life that works for you, not against you. You start to see the quiet power in small changes, in adjusting the way you do things, not giving up, but growing into something better. So take a breath. You're doing better than you think. Independence isn't measured by how much you can do alone. It's measured by how much of your life still feels like yours. And that, more than anything, is what we're here to protect. If you found these insights helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What's one small change you've made that's helped you feel more in control of your day? Or maybe one habit you've realized it's time to rethink? And if this video gave you even one useful idea, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more supportive tips that make life after 60 not just easier, but richer, fuller, and more yours. Here's to living your best life, one step at a time.